This right here is the Honor Pad V9. I guess you could call it the upgrade from last year's, well, 2023's Pad 9. And there's some really great standout specs here. You get an 11.5-inch display, 2.8K resolution across, which is sick, a really large 10,100 milliamp hour battery, fast charging, and the main thing I would say that you're really going to notice right away is just 6.1 millimeters thin. I can't even use thick because that's just so thin, but it's the design and the design profile as a whole that makes this super sleek and super interesting. And let's quickly touch on design. So this tablet as a whole costs £399 here in the UK. There are a ton of introductory offers to kind of discount that down just a little bit. Design profile wise, you get reasonably slim bezels across the entirety of it, which is sick. Camera lives in the middle, of course, it's the only way you can do in landscape mode. And then it's symmetrical borders all around. Super slim, very well built and very sturdy as well. And then you get, as Honor call it, 8 total speakers on the Pad V9. So in terms of an experience, it's super immersive. And that's quickly an overview of the design of the Honor Pad V9. But when it comes to things like performance, it is actually powered by the new MediaTek 8350 chipset. And we already know that MediaTek as a whole makes some great processors. And the processor in this, in particular, really stands out. It gives you a very immersive experience when it comes to things like gaming. Now, running things like Genshin Impact, Call of Duty Warzone, probably you can, but low resolution on the 8350. We did some light testing, but our mainly usage was on Call of Duty Mobile. And again, it runs very well. You can, of course, enhance the experience more if you wanted to with things like Game Booster to get you additional frames. So in terms of gaming, it runs very well. And then if you move on to OS, well, that's a whole different ball game. This actually runs Android 15 and Magic OS 9 out of box. So you get tons of really great features, and you're gonna get all of the things AI related as well. There is some reduction in what you can get AI wise, but the OS as a whole runs really well. And we've given you a few examples here as to what sort of AI features are available on the Pad V9. It's not the full blown Magic OS 9 vision that you get on like your Magic 7 Pro, but what you do have here is very good. There are some things like the calculation and the art and other features that are limited if you don't have a pen. So if you've got a pen, great, you'll get the full usage of it and you'll get all those feature enhancements. If you don't have the pen, you are going to have a slight reduction and downturn in those AI features, which is kind of fine. And then obviously we talked and touched briefly in our design overview on the display itself, 11.5 inch, and it is reduced compared to the Pad 9, which is 12 plus inches, but it's still a standout feature of the Pad 9. And let's quickly touch on the display itself. So in terms of performance, one thing we wanted to sort of emphasize is for those who like to use their tablets out and about in terms of nits and brightness, it is very good. You get really good peak brightness, but it's not at the really high end. It's not in the thousands, so you will get some reflection and some glare on your screen. If you're in a coffee shop, for example, or you're at home, you're going to be golden. You're not going to have an issue. If you wanted to use this in e-reader mode, that does exist as well. So essentially, this will make it completely grayscale, and then it allows you to sort of have a easier go on the eyes when you're using your tablet at night if you want to just read a book before you wind down for the rest of the night and go back to sleep, which is great. And that will also impact things like battery life as well. So that will enhance your battery life more because it doesn't need to have all those pixels firing. In terms of watching content, yes, game changer. Absolutely looks great on here. So you get a ton of really great color reproduction, good color saturation as well, and the quality as a whole is very good. It probably only fails slightly because there's an IPS LCD panel when it comes to those really darker areas. It doesn't reproduce those darker blacks as much as you would on an OLED panel, but that's really nitpicking as a whole. And of course, we also have a demo here for you of what it sounds like with those speakers firing up, watching, of course, a car video. Now, we've given you a lot of really good things about the Honor Pad V9, but there are a few downsides as well, and let's touch on those. So you get no IP rating, there's no connectivity option other than Wi-Fi, which is a shame. You don't get fast charging at 67 watts. You do on other tablets that we're going to review later, that you do get really fast charging. And then there are some downsides as well when it comes to the China version versus this version. There are some key differences that do impact performance. But are they deal breakers? Absolutely not. The V9 is still a truly great tablet. At roughly around about £400, you'll probably struggle to find something better than this. Maybe if you look at our review of the Xiaomi Pad 7, which is coming up real soon, that would be the nearest equivalent of this. But if you're in the market to spend around about £400 and you want a really good large screen tablet that allows you to use it all day and has really great battery life, then you should probably consider the Honor Pad V9. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, as always, we out.